Finance Committee update, take 12. Hey guys, Finance Committee here, calling in for a year-end update.
Yeah, we've taken over Sam's office, so we're just in here, but...
a wood cabin in the middle of nowhere.
I know, doesn't it kind of like a wood cabin? I like it. It is kind of, we need a fire. But, so I was asked to share a little bit about why I give, and I just want to share a quick story. When I was a kid, my dad used to pull a check out of his back wallet every Sunday as the baskets were being passed around, and I always was so curious about that. And as I got older, I wanted to put the check in the basket, and I had to compete with my brothers and sisters because I have two brothers and a sister, so it was tough to get that check because I wanted it every week and I wanted to drop it in the basket. As I got older, I was peeking at the check. I wanted to know a little bit more about what my dad was giving, and then I got my first job. My dad came into my room. He had 3 envelopes in his hand. He said, "This envelope, this one is for spending," and I was like, yes, I love that envelope. And then he said, "This envelope, this one's for saving," and I was like, great. And then he showed me this 3rd envelope, and he said, "You know what, Brand, this is the most important envelope of them all." And I was like, "Dad, what's that?" And he said, "This envelope is for giving. And it's something that you get to do from your heart, and you get to do because God has gifted you with so many things, and this is your opportunity to give back." Yeah. And he gave me a percentage just because that's how my head worked at the time, and it was easy for me to do. But it stuck with me for such a long time because I thought, man, there's such a heart behind why I give and what I'm giving for. And so I just grew this huge passion into giving. And it grew into something where I was giving on a consistent basis, but then I also felt this need to give in other arenas too, where I was giving more, and I was giving, one time I was asked to give my whole paycheck to somebody, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you sure? But I did it, and it was one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life. And I made more money in that month than I couldn't even put my hands on, and I don't even know how I did it. I got a $100 tip that week. It was just crazy. So I've just been taught that giving cheerfully and being somebody that's just a consistent giver is just a blessing, and that's how I've kind of viewed and pictured giving for the rest of my life, 13 years later, and I will do it for the rest of my life. I believe in it. So that's how I give, and that's what I believe in giving. So a little story from me.
That's awesome. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah. And a couple months ago, we came in front of you guys, and I think most of you heard, and we got it on the website and everything else. But for those that you haven't, I'll try to equally make it clear that we believe the best way to sustain Open Door long term is by getting as consistent with our giving as possible. And that's trying to fix the ebbs and flows, right? Because up to this point, we felt like maybe we can, maybe we can't do kids camp. You know, like if with the giving being so inconsistent, those ebbs and flows can be painful. And so as a team, we came up and we came to you with a 9.6% ask. And that was a 9.6% increase to your current giving, not your salary, your current giving. So if you were giving $100 a week, 9% more would be $109 instead of $100, right? And that's still our ask. We still believe that needs to be at the forefront of what we do to sustain Open Door long term, to pay for the new salary of our lead teaching pastor, and to usher in a new era that is Open Door.
And that's really part of, I think, our message to you today is partly it's a thank you for those of you who are already giving more above and beyond 9.6%. I mean, that we know that many of you guys are sacrificing to do that. That's a huge thing, and we're incredibly thankful. But this is, again, another chance to remind you of that ask and the impact that shift would have for us in the long run.
Yeah, and for the longest time, we've lived in a world where we did run a deficit. And it was a backwards way, because we'd said it was a deficit, and so the year-end ask was to make it up. But we're not in debt. We're not going to pay off a credit card with the year-end giving. We're actually we're in a healthy spot. But what it is it's pre-funding for the next year, so we can pay our bills in January and February. So we can run our church, and so we still need that because we haven't gotten the giving up to where it needs to be, and we know that that's okay because it's going to take some time. But we also don't ever want to not live in a world where we have a year-end ask, because we want to be able to give out of our surplus. We want to give out of hope for the future and what excess could look like, and what we could do in additional ways to serve our community and take care of our staff and paint the walls in the classrooms for our kids, and all that can come from that.
Yeah, and we know that some of you are still trying to figure out if you can give a little extra, the 9%. We also know that as this year end approaches, it's a really common time for people to kind of stop back and assess. Hey, can I give a little more right now? Is there kind of a year end gift that I want to make? So that's actually the other half of why we're here today, is to identify what we're going to ask Open Door, you guys, the body, to give. So if you're able to, and just as something to pray on, the number that we came up with is $375. So if each family or each household in Open Door was able to give $375 in addition to your kind of ongoing give, that would put us in an incredible place as we head into the new year. That puts us in a position to jump right in with the senior pastor. That puts us in a position to jump right in with all the ministry opportunities that you guys know are going on right now. So that's something we're asking you to pray on. And it may not be $375, it may be more, it may be less. That's something I think that is kind of like Bre touched on, is such a great part about giving. It's as much and more about you and God communicating and learning to trust Him in however that looks for you. But we want to be honest with you about where we're at financially, and that $375 is kind of where we're at right now. So that's what we're bringing to you. And
we recognize too, we just asked 9. And if that's all you can do currently, and you just did that, that's okay. And if you feel like you're working on 9% and that might take 3 to 6 months to get there, but maybe you can do a one-time gift now, that's what we want. And if you're in a position to do both, raise the roof.
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you want to find a little bit more information, there is going to be a little flyer in your bulletin. You can take that out, kind of get a bigger picture of it. If you have any questions, just email us. Our email is finance@odfchurch.org. You can email us any questions. If you need help even figuring out that number for you, that 9% number, we are happy to help. So with that, I think that's all we got.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.